He was working in the field when, suddenly, a stream of milk began to flow beneath his feet. He looked up and was completely stunned. A jar by the door was pouring out milk non-stop. Yet the milk inside the jar never seemed to decrease. An idea instantly struck him. He picked up the jar and began pouring the milk into his own buckets. 1 bucket, 2 buckets, 3 buckets. It never ended. To his amazement, as long as he didn't turn the jar upside down, it acted just like a magical treasure pot. The man was overjoyed. Before long, he became rich from selling the milk and moved out of his shabby hut into a grand mansion. But his sudden wealth drew unwanted attention. One night, a group of thieves targeted him, sneaking into his home under cover of darkness and stealing the jar. Here begins a new paragraph. Unfortunately for them, they were spotted by the gardener. A fight broke out between the two sides over the jar, and in the chaos, the treasure jar fell into a raging river, disappearing without a trace. Years later, an old lady selling rice cakes stumbled upon the jar by the river. She used it to store rice cakes, and to her shock, the cakes kept multiplying. 1 turned into 2, 2 into 3. Endlessly, the lady suddenly had a dangerous thought. She placed a few banknotes into the jar, and instantly, it produced an unlimited number of identical bills. Worried someone might discover its secret, she buried the jar beneath her cattle shed, then took the counterfeit money to the bank to deposit. Here begins a new paragraph, but that very move landed her in jail. She was sentenced to 50 years. Turns out the treasure jar had a fatal flaw. Everything it duplicated was an exact copy, down to the serial number on the bills. Life in prison was miserable. She was bullied and beaten daily by the prison's top thug. One day, as she was about to be attacked again, a new inmate named Anna stepped in like a hero, saving her and beating the bully badly. From then on, no one dared mess with her again. Here begins a new paragraph. The old lady believed in repaying kindness. Looking at the brave Anna, she decided to share the secret of the treasure jar, and earnestly told her, "I hope after you are released, you'll use it to help the poor." Anna smiled secretly to herself. Her chance had finally come. She and her partner were seasoned con artists. Now that this magical jar was in reach, what would they do with it? Because this jar didn't just copy food or money, it could replicate anything. So in the end, how will they choose to use the treasure jar? Will it bring blessings or disaster?